Hello, students. Before beginning the explanation of this chapter, let me remind you that I had sent a video link to you which had additional examples. So, I won't be explaining those things in this video. And if you want to know the meanings, if you want to know what they look like, what they sound like, I recommend that you watch that video before watching this one. I'll be putting the link in the description of this video as well. And so we begin with the reading and explanation of the chapter.
Toothy's Christmas Party. Let's read. Toothy the squirrel had been searching for nuts and goodies all summer.
The meaning of squirrel is gilheri, what we say in Hindi. And students, please note one thing in this chapter. There are various animals mentioned over here, and I'm telling it to you right now that the names of the animals have something in connection with what they do, with what they sound like, with what they look like. As for the squirrel, we have the name Toothy. Tooth means daat, teeth. And why did they give this name? Because you must have noticed in many cartoons also that squirrels have two big teeth in the front. So the name of the squirrel is based on how it looks like. They have given the name Toothy because you also must have noticed in cartoons they show that squirrels like to eat nuts a lot and they try to bite the nuts with their two front teeth. So over here, Toothy the squirrel had been searching for nuts. I'll just show you what nuts means. Now this is an example of acorn. This is how it looks like when it grows on trees. These are many acorns together. You can see how squirrels eat these nuts. It is holding it in its mouth. And you must have noticed one thing similar in these images. Squirrels mostly like to remain near trees because they get these nuts fallen on the ground. So back to the reading and explanation. Searching for nuts and goodies. What do you mean by goodies? As for squirrels, let me tell you what they like to eat. It is like that squirrels eat anything that they can get easily. Even if they get vegetables easily, they will eat them. But their favorite is mostly nuts. So Toothy had been searching for nuts and goodies all summer. Why was he searching? Let us see.
He always hosted a grand Christmas party near Oaky Grand.
The meaning of hosted is, for example, if a person calls you for a party, that person will organize the food, organize the drinks, will organize the music. So that person who is organizing or holding a party is known as the host. So he always hosted a grand means Alishan Christmas party near Oaky Grand. And in the video that I had sent, I'd given you example of what an oak tree looks like. You can see in this image also there are many branches. An oak tree has many branches. That's why all these animals used to live on each of the branches.
Oaky was a very old oak tree where Toothy's friends came together every evening for a round of chitter-chatter.
In this sentence, round does not mean shape. Round means when you meet many people together at a time. What do you mean by chitter chatter? This happens mostly with small children. When they sit together, they keep on talking a lot, they keep on talking continuously. That is known as chitter chatter. Or in Hindi, sometimes we also say gappe marna. They used to meet in the evening just to talk to each other.
Many of his brothers and sisters were born on one of Oaky's branches, and Toothy also lived on one of them.
I already mentioned this to you that there were many branches on the oak tree, and so many of his brothers, whose brothers? Brothers of Toothy and also his sisters, were born on one of Oaky's branches. So, from this sentence, you can know that almost all of them had at least one branch for each of them.
His friends, Evie the eagle, Crocky the crow, Tooty Toot the wise owl, and Plunk the pigeon, lived in the neighbouring trees.
As I told you earlier, you can see the names over here. Evie the eagle. It is relating to the name, there is some connection. Maybe they have given the name Evie because eagle flies very high or something like that. Or maybe the name starts with E, so they have given the name Evie. Crocky crow because the sound what crows make sounds like this word croak. Tooty toot the wise owl because the sound that an owl makes sounds like tooty toot. Plonk the pigeon because it makes this kind of sound. Lived in the neighboring trees. Neighboring means whichever is close by. In Hindi we call it as pados mein.
Toothy would twitch his tail and run off to visit his friends whenever he got bored.
In the video that I had sent, I had explained to you what is twitch. To move a tail suddenly. Toothy would twitch his tail and run off to visit his friends whenever he got bored. Students, if you notice birds, not just in the video, but if you notice birds around you, when they are sitting on a branch and when they want to go off the branch, if they want to fly away from there, many of the birds will twitch their tail because they are excited or they want to do something.
The beautiful forest where Toothy and his friends lived had a variety of trees.
You already know the meaning of forest. Let me tell you the meaning of variety of trees. That means many trees and many different kinds of trees.
One fine winter morning, Toothy woke up and saw a few men cutting down tree after tree.
This sentence is easy to understand. I won't explain it to you.
All his friends came running to Toothy. "Hello, my friends," said Toothy.
Over here, you must have noticed one thing. Toothy woke up, saw a few men cutting down tree after tree. His friends came running. And students, please note over here what is happening is, "Hello, my friends," said Toothy. His friends just came running to him and they did not say anything. Toothy himself said, "Hello, my friends, do not worry." Now, why did he tell them not to worry without them telling him anything? Let us see.
"Do not worry, you all can share this tree with me. But we must stop these men. How can we do that?"
Why did Toothy tell his friends not to worry? Because he had already seen that all his friends came running and they were upset or maybe they were sad. They were having some sort of tension that something wrong is going on in the forest. And what wrong was going on? Many men had come to cut down the trees. And he told them not to worry and that they could share this tree. This tree means Oaky with me. That means he told his friends that they could live on that same tree where he is living. But at the same time, they had to stop those men. Why? Because if they would continue cutting each tree, the full forest would have become empty.
"Twit-too, twit-too,"
Hooted the wise owl.
Before moving on to what the owl said, in the video there was this sound of hooting. And this twit too, this is the sound that an owl makes. So let's see what the owl said.
We can all try to scare and drive these sawmen out.
Now, why do you think the voice is sounding like that? Because this was a wise owl. And wise can also mean that this owl was not young, it was an old owl. This owl knew many things in life, very experienced owl. That's why it is known as the wise owl. And the voice is also a bit heavier. We can try to scare. Scare means हम उनको डरा सकते हैं and drive these saw men. In the other video, I had shown you what saw means. In Hindi, it is known as Ari. And the people who use saw to cut trees are known as sawmen. We can all try to scare and drive these sawmen out. Drive them out means हम उनको यहाँ से भगा सकते हैं.
All the friends agreed and swarmed over the sawmen, who had already cut down many trees.
All the friends agreed. Agreed means all of them said yes, we are ready to do this, and swarmed. You must have noticed in Discovery Channel or National Geographic Channel, the eagles and the vultures, they usually swarm. Swarm means they gather around something. And what that something could be, it could be a dead animal. All these friends agreed and swarmed. They all gathered together. In Hindi, it is also known as Jhund mein aana. That means coming together over the sawmen. You can see in this image over here, all the birds were trying to make them scared, who had already cut down many trees, which means that they were about to empty the forest.
They scared them with their shrieks and hoots.
Shrieks is also the sound that they make. I had explained in the video as well. Now, how did they get scared only with sound? You must have noticed, especially in horror movies, where they show very dangerous things where people get scared. At night, there are many sounds of the owls, many sounds of snakes. These sounds, if you keep on hearing continuously, you also get irritated, annoyed. You want to run away from there. You also get scared at times. So, this is how the sawmen were made scared and they were made to run away from the forest.
The men ran away so scared that they never cared to look back.
That means they never wanted to come again over there.
Thankfully, Oaky was saved.
The meaning of thankfully is in Hindi how we say, Bhagwan ne bacha liya, thank God, Oaky was saved.
But Toothy had another problem. Toothy was worried, as only 2 days were left for Christmas. He did not have enough goodies this winter.
You may be thinking, what is there to worry in this if he did not have enough goodies? What do you mean by goodies? Let me tell you. For example, if we are going to celebrate the festival of Diwali, most of you will have in your houses things like sweets, things like candies, things like chocolates, a lot of good food to eat. In the same way, Toothy was worried about Christmas and he did not have enough goodies in that winter season.
He had to remain hungry at times to save up for Christmas.
Why did he have to save up for Christmas? Because this is a festival that people in the other countries celebrate with a lot of joy, with a lot of happiness. And Toothy was worried because many a times he had to remain hungry. Why did he have to remain hungry? Because if he would eat all those things each and every day, he would have nothing for Christmas.
Toothy sat on one of Oaky's trunks, thinking.
Where shall I get more nuts and goodies? It's already winter and the snow has already covered everything.
This word over here, trunks, I had explained to you, if you remember, in the last semester's chapter number 5. That is how stories came about. The lower part of a tree after it is cut. So Toothy sat on one of Oaky's trunks, thinking, where shall I get more nuts and goodies? It's already winter and the snow has already covered everything. And you must have seen, when there is a lot of snow, it actually covers everything. That means even if there would be nuts on the ground, Toothy would not be able to find it because the snow used to be very thick.
2 days went by. Toothy woke up on Christmas morning to the twittering and chattering of his friends.
As we read earlier, just 2 days were left for Christmas, and after 2 days, Toothy woke up on Christmas morning to the twittering and chattering. I told you the meaning of chattering already. Twittering means the sound that birds make. Why did Toothy wake up? Because he heard the sound of his friends.
He shook his tail and ran down the tree.
We studied earlier also that Toothy would twitch his tail when he wanted to meet his friends. So he did the same thing over here.
He was welcomed with a cheerful and loud Merry Xmas, dear Toothy.
Merry Xmas also means Merry Christmas. Cheerful means in a very happy way. He was welcomed. And who cheered and who said this thing? All his friends.
What did he see? A grand party was laid out on the grass near Oaky.
Laid out means it was held. There was a grand party, Alishan, near Oaky. And near Oaky, but where? It was on the grass. That means around Oaky or close to Oaky.
The tree was covered with bellflowers. Oaky had a big smile on his face.
In the other video, I had showed you examples of bell flowers. The tree was covered with bell flowers. You can see over here also there were a lot of decorations, and Oaky had a big smile on his face.
I have been flying around collecting all the goodies I could find. I hid them on the top branches of Oaky,
Evie said.
Now let us recollect, let us try to remember who is this person, Evie? It was the eagle. And what did Evie say? I have been flying around and collecting all the goodies I could find. Because you might be knowing one thing, that birds and animals always are in search of food, especially birds and these kinds of animals. So Evie was flying around and collecting goodies that he could get, and he hid them, that means chupaya, on the top branches of Oaky. Now there are two reasons why he did this, why he hid them on the top branches. One reason could be he did not want anybody else to take whatever he was collecting. And another reason is that he wanted to give a surprise to Toothy.
I brought all the nuts by flying to the city nearby, said Plunk.
Plonk means the pigeon. The pigeon brought all the nuts by flying to the city nearby. That means this was a forest, and you know that in city areas we do not have forests. So the pigeon, that is Plonk, had to go to the city that was close to the forest.
Each of his friends had been saving for this party, they said.
We didn't want you to be disappointed on Christmas.
In this sentence it says, each of his friends. That means all his friends had been saving for the party. And they told him that we didn't want you to be disappointed. Disappointed means nirash hona or to feel sad.
So we thought of giving you a surprise. Merry Christmas!
The little squirrel, close to tears, said,
I knew I had the best friends in the world.
The little squirrel close to tears. Why did the squirrel start crying? You may be knowing one thing, that when a person is very happy and doesn't know what to say out of happiness, the person starts crying. Now, that kind of crying is not because a person is sad, it is because a person is very happy. I knew I had the best friends in the world. We also say that friends are those who help you when you need them.
Merry Christmas!
So, this chapter is very easy to understand. And before ending this video, students, let me remind you once again, if you have still not watched the video, I am putting the link in the description of this video as well, so that you can listen to and you can watch the additional examples. Thank you, students.